Hello, this is Christian. In this video, I'm going to modify this app here. We're going to add a bootstrap template to this app, and we'll also be creating the navigation component for this app. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to go to the assignment here. Again, I'm going to use this small business template here. It's free, so click on it, and you feel free to use any theme you want. It doesn't really matter, but this is a very simple theme. So just click download. Okay, and that should be downloaded already here. And then you can open that. And I'm just gonna drag this to the desktop. So let's see if I can go here. And I'm gonna just drag it to the desktop somewhere around here. And you can close this now. And so inside here is this what you need. So if you run this index page, you just click on it, and you see that this is the one that we want to use. Right? It's fully functional, so it's kind of nice. Okay, so we want to have this theme here added to our app here. So I'm going to go ahead and close this for now. Okay, so back here, and then you want to just copy this to your Angular project folder. So I'm going to go to my document here, right click, open a new window, and over here in the projects, inside my Angular, inside the flat app, inside the SRC, and there should be the assets folder. Okay, I'm not sure how the vendor I might have added earlier on, but you should not have that. If you have it, that's fine, that's okay. But we need to add the CSS, the vendor, and this index here. Just those three, that's all you need. And just drag that over if you want to just do that. You don't need to copy this anymore. And we move those over. And so once that's done, we can basically close this. And you don't need this anymore. If you want to trash it, that's fine. Okay, so it's all in there now. You can close this, and let's go back to the code. So this is the previous one we were creating this. So I'm going to close all of these, and let's do a few things here first. Okay, so well, yeah, let's close off all of these. So this is the index that we're going to use. Okay, the index HTML, and so inside the SRC folder, in the assets folder, we added this index. This is the one that we want to use. I mean, well, I'm going to just copy a few things over. And so here, I want to use just the style sheet. So you can copy that, copy it, and then paste it to right below the link here. Okay, because those will stay fixed throughout the entire app, right? And also the very bottom, you see. But for now, I want to see what it looks like. Okay, so we're gonna add the navigation from line. Let me collapse this from line 23 through 49. If I copy that, and if I put it like right above here, the app root, so that's the navigation, right? And let me again collapse that. And then we also want to get the footer. So the footer is down the bottom, right here, and also this scripts too. So I'm going to copy both of those in the footer, and then paste it to the bottom after the app root down here. Okay, and again, these are not part of Angular yet because they're outside of it, so they're not managed by Angular. Okay, so we want to move this inside a component so that we can have management of this component and also the nav. But for now, we want to make sure that it's functional in the app. So you can save that, and we need to do a few things here because this file, this index file, is here, but the links down here, the vendor, is inside the assets folder, right? So you want to modify this to say assets/vendor. Okay, make sure they are pointing to the correct folder, otherwise they won't be found. And that's all you need to do for this one. So save that. Now you can close these this sample index here. You can close the assets folder for now. And so that's our new index with the root still. So everything you see earlier will be still running here. We just added a different style rule. So if I save that, and if you go to your terminal, and if you haven't started yet, just do a ng serve like this, and then -o to compile it, run it. Mine is still running, so I don't have to do anything here. And then now, if you go to the browser, and refresh it, you should see the changes taking effect already, right? So here's the bootstrap theme that we added here, and the bottom is the footer. Okay. Only thing again is not part of Angular yet. It does not manage by Angular. All right, and so we want to turn this into a component. We add it to the app component here. So let's go and do that. All right, I'm going to close this for now. I'll just leave that running still. So let's do a few things here. We want this to be moved to a component. Before we do that though, let's do some cleanups in here. Inside the app, and then the app HTML here, you can see that there's a bunch of data here, all these CSS here. This is a template, right? There's a lot of them. The CSS is quite huge. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this, all of this, to the app component.css. Why not, right? It should be here, okay? Because all of these will be used for this HTML template. So I'm going to copy everything here from line 10. Let me collapse all these again. Line 10 to like 300 pretty much. I'm going to copy everything here and then just paste it right in here. And we'll remove the style and then the style on the very top as well. Okay, and then right click on it and then just say, oh, it doesn't let me format here. But you can just see all these like indentations here. Just select everything, Control A, and then do a Shift Tab. Okay, a Shift Tab will tab backward. If you tab forward, if you hit Tab, it will tab forward. And then Shift Tab, it moves back. Okay, so it just makes it nice. And save that file, and we can close that now. So now our index file, it looks much better. And all these here can be deleted, okay? You can remove all those. We don't need that. It just makes your site really kind of messy. And the footer section too, the way down here, all this information can be deleted. Leave this alone. We're going to keep that for now. And I'll explain that later. And so just delete all these information here, all these comments, and make it a little bit nicer and cleaner. Okay, so, all right. Now this is at the top of the toolbar. If you save this now, and well, because we have this here already, so it's gonna hide that. But this is the blue bar you saw earlier, right? The blue bar has the logo on the top left and has the word welcome there, right? So we're gonna remove that and replace it with our own. Okay, so here I'm gonna go and just let's see. Yeah, we're gonna delete it, remove it, and we'll replace it with our own. So you can put here the navigation eventually. So I'm going to save that for now. And then I want to see what it looks like in the browser for now. So if I go to the terminal and I'm in the browser, so you'll see the little blue bar is now gone. It's underneath it before, but it's been removed now because we just took out that bar. But you want to move this into the code. So let's go back here. And then now I'll leave this as if for now. Well, let's close it. We'll open it later. And so the first thing you want to do is create a component. Okay, and I'll show you to do it two ways. One is the harder way, at least so you know how to do it, and then we'll do the shorter way. That will automate the process for you. Okay, so the longer way is just make sure you know how to do this right yourself. And as you can see, all we need is basically just this file. That single file is enough if you don't have like a huge style sheet, if you don't have a huge template, really just a really tiny one, then you can do everything here on this single file, and that's all you need. But ideally, since we're going to have a lot of HTML stuff, you want to use a separate file. So that's why you use a external file to manage that. So we just link it to that page. All right, same thing here. You link it to that style sheet. Notice the word style URLs, plural. That means you can add multiple style sheets, right? If you add another one, just put a comma, you put what that is, add another one, put a comma, and you have a list of style sheets. This is an array of style sheets, okay? And then the template URL is only one, right? You can only have one template, you cannot have multiples. That's why there's only one URL. But the word URL also important. It tells you a hint that both of these means external files. If you want to use a local template here, then you basically remove that URL, and then now you have local style sheets and local template. Okay, what does that mean? Well, for example, if I save this, if I save it and go back to my app, you will see it looks like that, right? Because now this is my template. Whatever I put there, it's exactly the template. All my style sheets are gone because I didn't put any style sheets in there. What I mean is if you go back and say, let's just say put a H1 here, right? H1, put hello. That is my template. Now I'm using what's called an inline template. And then this is a style rule. It is not a style rule, right? Style rule is how you, it's a regular style sheet. I'm going to style the H1 with the color red, right? That is style sheet. And if you add another one, just put a comma here and then just keep going, right? Okay, so here is, I save that, go back to my file, and you see that here is the template. It's the inline template with the style sheet add making this color red. Okay, so that is why I say you don't need this style sheet and an HTML template here. If you are doing locally here, okay, if it's just a tiny file, then yeah, you just do it this way. You don't have to switch back and forth. But if it's a really large template, then usually you put it into a separate file and just make sure you use the correct properties here. All right, so I'm going to do it undo, just go back to what we had earlier, and then we're good at that. All right, so now to create your template, a component, so inside the app folder here, anywhere here, just click anywhere here, doesn't matter, and click here to add a new folder. We'll call it nav. Okay, and I need just basically the component and the HTML. So copy those two, Control C to copy, and then you paste it right in here, Control V, right? And then you're going to change this name to call nav. Oops. And you want to be consistent and follow the same pattern here. So nav.component, nav.html, component HTML, nav.something CSS, and so on. And the first word is your component. Okay, so I have my two files in here. And then inside here, this is the one that I need. I need to change a few things here. So the name should be called nav component. You don't have to call it nav component. You can call it whatever you want, doesn't matter, because all it is just a class name. But again, the convention is to keep it consistent. Okay, so when you see this, it's called a nav component. If it's called top nav, you say top nav component, right? And then whatever you use here, when you export it out, wherever you use it elsewhere, you have to use the same name. Okay, so we call it nav component, and I'm not going to use the title here for now. There's no title there. And so the selector, what is it going to be called? You cannot use app root, it's repeated. So I'm going to say app nav. You can call it whatever you want, right? Just it's yours, okay? And then these again will be called nav, and then also nav here. So this part is pretty much done. So you can save that. Now go to the nav component HTML, and so we don't need all of these, right? So you can select all of them and just delete them. And we're going to copy the navigation from this index file. So this nav here, right? So line 16 through 42. I'm going to copy, or actually cut it, Control X to cut it. You can save this file, and then you move it to the HTML here. So again, you can do a right click and format document. So it formats it for you automatically in the HTML, and save this file. So this is all your HTML for the nav component. And then you are done pretty much here. And the next thing is, where do you want to use this tag? Well, in the index page, right? So right above here, we replace what we put earlier, and our is called app-nav, and that is where it's going to show up, right above the app root. No, I'm sorry. This is the wrong one. That's the wrong file. You know, you don't want to touch this file. You can close this one for now. Yeah, it should be inside this this app component HTML. Okay, right above here. This is the app component. Right above the one that we deleted earlier. So we're gonna put it in here. So say app-nav. That's where it's gonna show up above this. All right. add component. So if you save it now, if you go to the browser and if you run it, it's gonna probably give you an error. If you refresh it, okay, as you can see, you don't see it here, and you don't see the footer is still here because it's in index. But if you press F12 and you inspect the console, it should give you some kind of error. Yeah, it doesn't do it because it might not have caught it yet, but usually it should give an error because there's no nav available. Okay, so it's not working, and that is because we haven't attached this to the module yet. Okay, we didn't include that yet. So now in the app module here, in order for it to be seen, to be used, you must attach it to the app module. Okay, so here, this is the root module. And so I'm going to import that component here. Just follow this pattern. Okay, you're importing components or other modules. Later on, we'll learn modules. We import module instead of component. But for now, we'll do the module. Component. So import the component called, we call it nav component, right? From the folder called nav. Inside here, we have a file called nav component, and that's where it's coming from. This is a class, right? It's this class here. Okay, it's going to be import everything here to here, and then we're going to add that to the declarations. Two parts here about a module. We'll learn that later if you haven't already. Declarations is for component, import is for modules. Okay, that's what you name your classes mirror meaningful this way, so you don't confuse when you put it here. Okay, so we're going to add that here. Just put a comma, and then we call it nav component. Okay, and notice I'm doing import first. Okay, and another way is you could do, I believe, if I go back and remove this, the other way, which is the shorter way, if you go here, and if I add that nav component, hit enter. Yeah, I'm not sure it didn't do it, but usually what it will do is it will actually add that automatically for you up here as soon as you type it, and I'm not sure why it doesn't do that for me. Yeah, there you go. If I click on it, so you can see I added here, and also it does import automatically for me. So that's kind of handy. Okay, so now once I added this to the module, to the root module, now it's visible inside this add component HTML. So now if I go back to the browser and refresh my page, it's probably couldn't find it earlier. This is the earlier one because I did not include it. If you refresh a few times, it should come back. Hopefully. Let's see. Oh, yeah, because we don't have the CSS, right? It tells you in the nav CSS, it didn't have it, but we included in the code. So let's go back and fix that first. And the nav component, okay, we don't have it, as you can see. So just delete that, remove that, and leave it an empty array. Save that, and you go back, and that should be fixed. Okay, so let's refresh that again. And yeah, I'm still not seeing the root here. Just do a refresh a couple times maybe. Yeah, why is it not there? Let me see. App root, app nav is here. We added that here. Might be a caching issue. Okay, yeah, let's see what's going on. Well, I guess we can, there's no errors here, so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just restart my app again. Maybe it didn't compile. So I'm gonna go to the terminal here and just terminate my run, and then just clear my console and run it again. ngserve, and I'm not gonna put an O here because I already opened it. So just ngserve. Maybe it just needs to recompile and then feed in the new changes. I opened this like for quite a while, but there are no errors, so I suspect it should work. And we'll just see what happens when this is compiled. but you should see the new navigation. Well, it's the same one, but we added to the nav component now. So it's recompiling now. All right, so let's go back to the browser again. And so there it is. Okay, so it was a caching issue, was not properly fixed before. So here we go, right? So now this is a part of the Angular component now, and the footer is not yet. So that's for you to do, right? So you're gonna build this nav footer and then put that down there in the component for the add component. So for these here, again, for now it's not working, but you want to add the ones that I mentioned in the assignment. So you need to say the home, the flight list, add flight, about page here. I have a few here already, so you can just modify those. If you want to add more, that's up to you, but I need at least those at the minimum. And so you also want to make the changes here as well. The link should say not with the pound sign, but slash about, slash services, or slash contact, slash flight, and so on. So the home would be just the slash. Okay, so what I mean is that inside your code here in the nav component HTML. So up here, so just change the pound sign to the slash for home. This would be a slash about, and then this would be a slash services in this example, and then slash contact. These are called routes, right? So save that, and then you are all set. Refresh it. So this one I didn't fix that one yet, but you can see now they have to go to the correct place, and you'll see an error saying it's not found. So it kind of reloaded at that for you, but that's what you should have. Okay, so I hope this is helpful, and so in the next video, next few weeks, we'll be building this app here. We'll be changing the content here to load our flight information. So again, if you have any questions, just shoot me an email or post a comment, and I'll get to you.